I spent the last month testing the best soundbars from Samsung, Sony, and Bose, three brands that dominate the premium soundbar market in 2026. I'm talking about flagship models costing well over $1,000, each promising to transform your living room into a home theater. Samsung brought their massive 11.1.4 channel beast with wireless subwoofers and rear speakers included. Sony showed up with their precision-tuned spatial audio technology and seamless TV integration. Bose delivered their signature refined sound with AI-enhanced dialogue and unique wireless earbud surround options. Going into this comparison, I expected Sony to win based on their audio engineering reputation, or maybe Bose with their decades of premium speaker expertise. But after extensive testing with movies, music, and games across different room sizes, the winner genuinely shocked me. And it's probably not the brand you're expecting either. Before we dive into which soundbar actually wins and why, hit that subscribe button and drop a like if you want honest comparisons that cut through marketing hype. And tell me in the comments, which soundbar are you using right now and what problems are you facing with it? Let's break this down. What we're actually comparing. For this comparison, I focused on each brand's flagship or near flagship model that represents their best current technology. From Samsung, that's the HW-Q990D, an 11.1.4 channel system, meaning 11 main speakers, 1 subwoofer, and 4 height channels for Dolby Atmos. This is a complete package with a main soundbar, wireless subwoofer, and wireless rear speakers all included in the box. The price ranges from $1,500 to $2,000 depending on sales, which sounds expensive until you realize you're getting a full surround system, not just a soundbar. Sony's entry is the Bravia Theater Bar 9, a 7.1.2 channel soundbar that's expandable with optional subwoofers and rear speakers sold separately. The bar alone costs $1,400 to $1,800. So if you want the complete experience with bass and true surround, you're adding several hundred more for the add-ons. Sony positions this as their premium spatial audio solution with technology designed to create precise three-dimensional sound stages and seamless integration with Sony TVS. Bose brings the Smart Ultra Soundbar, a 5.1.2 channel system priced between $800 and $1,000. This is Bose's current flagship soundbar featuring their signature balanced sound, AI-enhanced dialogue processing, and unique integration with Bose wireless earbuds that can function as personal surround speakers. It's the most affordable of the three flagships, but also the most compact and lifestyle-focused, rather than pure performance-focused. The channel counts tell you a lot about each brand's approach. Samsung goes big with 11 channels creating maximum immersion through sheer speaker count. Sony takes a middle approach with 7 channels but emphasizes quality and precision over quantity. Bose keeps it simpler with 5 channels, betting on processing and refinement rather than raw driver count. These different philosophies lead to very different listening experiences, and understanding what each brand prioritizes helps explain why one emerges as the winner. Samsung HW-Q990D, the immersion monster. Let's start with Samsung, because this soundbar immediately makes an impression the moment you turn it on. The HW-Q990D is massive in every sense. The main bar is wide and tall, the wireless subwoofer is a serious piece of equipment with dual drivers, and the wireless rear speakers are substantial units that don't feel like afterthoughts. Setup takes maybe 30 minutes because everything is wireless except the power cables. The bar connects to your TV via HDMI-EARC. The sub and rears pair automatically via Samsung's wireless system, and you're ready to go. The sound that comes out of this system is genuinely room-filling in a way the other two struggle to match. When you play an action movie, explosions hit with physical impact from the subwoofer, effects swirl around the room through the rear speakers, and overhead sounds convincingly appear above you from the height channels. The 11.1.4 configuration isn't just marketing. You can actually hear the benefit of having this many discrete channels working together. The soundstage extends far beyond the physical speakers, creating that bubble of sound where you feel surrounded, rather than just having audio fired at you from the front. Samsung's Q Symphony technology is a game changer if you own a Samsung TV. This feature lets the soundbar and your TV's built-in speakers work together instead of the TV speakers shutting off when the soundbar is active. The TV speakers handle center channel dialogue while the soundbar focuses on effects and surround, creating an even wider soundstage and better dialogue clarity without sacrificing immersion. It sounds gimmicky, but actually works impressively well, adding another dimension to the experience that the other brands can't match unless you happen to own their TVs with similar features. Dolby Atmos performance on the Samsung is the most convincing of the three. Height effects have real presence and directionality. In scenes where helicopters fly overhead, you clearly hear them start in front, rise above, and continue behind you. Rain sequences sound like precipitation falling from the ceiling around you. Even subtle overhead ambiance like birds flying past or ceiling lights buzzing has noticeable verticality. The 4 height channels and upward-firing drivers create legitimate 3-dimensional audio that justifies the Atmos label instead of just being virtual trickery. Bass is where Samsung really separates itself. The wireless subwoofer digs deep with powerful, tight low end that doesn't just boom but actually articulates bass notes and effects. Explosions have weight and texture, not just volume. Music with deep bass extensions sounds full and impactful without becoming muddy or overwhelming the mid-range. The integration between the subwoofer and main soundbar is seamless with no obvious gaps or overlaps in frequency response. You can adjust the sub level independently if it's too much or too little, but out of the box, the balance is impressive. The rear speakers complete the surround experience by placing effects behind you with convincing localization. Ambient sounds like crowd noise, environmental effects, or rear attack action sequences come from behind instead of being faked by the front soundbar. This creates true wraparound immersion that soundbars without rear speakers simply cannot achieve. And because everything is wireless, you don't have speaker wire running across your room, keeping the installation clean and livable room friendly. Sony Bravia Theater Bar 9, the precision specialist. Now let's talk about Sony, because this soundbar does some things better than Samsung, despite ultimately not winning overall. The Bravia Theater Bar 9 is all about spatial accuracy and precision. Sony uses their 360 spatial sound mapping technology, which measures your room with built-in microphones and optimizes the soundbar to create accurate 3-dimensional audio specific to your space. The result is a soundstage with exceptional imaging, where you can pinpoint exactly where sounds are coming from in space, rather than just hearing generalized surround effects. Watching movies on the Sony, dialogue is exceptionally clear and natural. Voices sound realistic without artificial enhancement or boosting. The center channel integration is precise, anchoring dialogue to the screen so it feels like actors are actually speaking instead of just sound coming from a speaker. This clarity extends through the mid-range where most of the movie soundtrack lives. Instruments and music scores are distinct and separated. Subtle sound effects like footsteps, clothing rustling, or objects being handled come through with detail and realism that the Samsung sometimes obscures with its more bombastic approach. The Atmos implementation on the Sony is wide and accurate, but less dramatic than Samsung's. Overhead effects are present and you can hear verticality, but they feel more subtle and refined rather than in-your-face obvious. This might appeal to purists who want natural-sounding immersion, but for casual viewers expecting wow factor overhead effects, the Sony feels restrained by comparison. The 7.1.2 configuration has fewer height channels than Samsung's 4, which contributes to the less aggressive vertical presence. Here's where Sony stumbles. Bass. The Theater Bar 9 without the optional subwoofer lacks deep low-end impact. Action scenes feel thin, music without substantial bass loses weight and power, and explosions sound more like loud noise than physical events. Sony expects you to buy their wireless subwoofer separately, adding another $500 to $700 to the total system cost. Once you add the sub, bass improves dramatically, and the Sony becomes competitive with Samsung in low-end performance. But that means you're spending $2,000+ to get the complete experience versus Samsung giving you everything for $1,500 to $2,000. The same goes for rear speakers. The Sony sounds impressive for a soundbar without rear speakers, creating a surprisingly wide soundstage and decent surround effects through processing. But compare it to Samsung with actual rear speakers, and the difference is obvious. True rear speakers provide localization and immersion that no amount of processing can fully replicate. Sony offers optional rear speakers as another add-on. But again, you're spending more money to match what Samsung includes in the base package. Sony's strength is integration with Sony TVS through acoustic center sync, similar to Samsung's Q Symphony. If you have a compatible Sony Bravia TV, the TV's speakers work with the soundbar to enhance center channel dialogue and create a taller soundstage. This works beautifully if you're in the Sony ecosystem, but it's useless if you own any other TV brand. Samsung's ecosystem features work the same way, tying you to their products for full benefit. Bose Smart Ultra, the balanced contender. The Bose Smart Ultra takes a completely different approach from the other two. This is a compact, lifestyle-focused soundbar that prioritizes refinement and ease of use over raw performance specs. The 5.1.2 configuration is the smallest of the three, but Bose uses processing technology they call True Space to create a wider soundstage than the physical size would suggest. The soundbar is sleek, minimalist, and designed to disappear into your living room rather than dominate it like the Samsung's large components. Bose's signature sound is balanced and smooth with excellent dialogue clarity. The Smart Ultra features AI dialogue mode that analyzes audio in real time and boosts dialogue frequencies when it detects conversations without making voices sound unnatural. This is incredibly effective for TV shows, news, and dialogue-heavy movies, where understanding every word matters more than explosive surround effects. For seniors or anyone with hearing difficulties, the Bose delivers the clearest, most intelligible dialogue of the three soundbars without needing to crank the volume or constantly adjust settings. Music playback is where Bose shines brightest. The tonal balance is refined with smooth highs, present mids, and adequate bass that doesn't overpower. Listening to Spotify or streaming music services, the Bose sounds more like a quality stereo system than a soundbar. Instruments have separation and clarity, vocals are natural and forward, and the overall presentation is enjoyable for long listening sessions. The Samsung sounds more exciting and dynamic for movies, but can feel overwhelming for casual music listening. The Sony is detailed, but sometimes analytical. The Bose just sounds pleasant and balanced in a way that works for everything. The Atmos implementation on the Bose is the weakest of the three. Height effects are subtle to the point of barely noticeable. The soundstage is wide, but lacks the dramatic overhead presence the other two achieve. Bose is clearly using processing to virtualize Atmos rather than creating true height channels with convincing overhead sound. For Atmos enthusiasts who want that helicopter flying overhead wow factor, the Bose disappoints. But for people who care more about balanced, clear sound for everyday TV watching, the Bose's approach works fine. Bass on the Bose without adding their optional subwoofer is adequate but limited. There's enough low end for TV shows and casual viewing, but action movies and music with deep bass feel incomplete. Explosions lack weight, bass drops in music feel thin, and the overall impact is restrained. Add Bose's bass module subwoofer for another $800 and bass improves significantly, but now you're at $1,800 total for a 5.1.2 system, which is poor value compared to the competition. Bose's unique feature is the ability to use Bose wireless earbuds as personal surround speakers. Connect compatible Bose earbuds and they function as rear channels, creating a personal surround experience without physical rear speakers in your room. This is clever for apartment dwellers or late-night viewing when you can't use loudspeakers, but it's a niche feature that most people won't use regularly. And it still doesn't match the immersion of actual rear speakers for normal family viewing. The performance comparison for Dolby Atmos immersion, Samsung wins with the most convincing overhead effects and widest soundstage. Sony comes second with accurate spatial imaging, but less dramatic height. Bose finishes third with subtle Atmos and minimal overhead effects. For bass performance, Samsung wins again with its included powerful subwoofer. Sony requires purchasing a separate sub to compete at higher total cost. Bose has the weakest bass and also requires an expensive add-on sub. For dialogue clarity, Bose takes the crown with its AI processing, making voices exceptionally clear. Sony comes second with precise center channel imaging. Samsung finishes third, as its aggressive tuning sometimes buries voices, though you can adjust settings to improve this. For music playback, Bose wins with its smooth, balanced signature. Sony comes second with detailed, accurate reproduction. Samsung finishes third with exciting but potentially fatiguing sound over long sessions. For features and connectivity, Samsung leads with dual HDM, E2.1, Q Symphony TV integration, and SpaceFit sound calibration. Sony offers 360 spatial sound mapping and Bravia Sync. Bose provides Alexa control and simple sync, but fewer advanced features. The value proposition. Samsung delivers the most complete package at the best value. For $1,500 to $2,000, you get an 11.1.4 system fully included. Sony charges over $2,500 total for comparable configuration. Bose requires expensive add-ons to compete. Samsung shocks by offering more speakers, channels, and features while costing less. Real-world usage. For action movies, Samsung creates room-shaking, enveloping experiences. Sony comes close with accurate placement, but less impact. Bose feels restrained by comparison. For TV shows and daily viewing, Bose's dialogue clarity gives it an edge. Sony's clarity is also excellent. Samsung requires center channel tweaking, but becomes competitive once adjusted. For gaming, Samsung wins with dual HDMI, 2.1, and low latency. Sony also supports gaming features well. Bose lacks gaming-specific features. For music streaming, Bose is most enjoyable for casual listening. Sony is better for critical listening. Samsung is exciting but can feel overprocessed. The room size factor. In small to medium rooms, all three perform well. Bose actually works great in smaller spaces. In larger rooms above 300 square feet, Samsung pulls away decisively. Sony struggles without add-ons. Bose can't compete in large rooms. The ecosystem lock-in. All three brands offer enhanced features when paired with their own TVS. Samsung has Q Symphony, Sony has Acoustic Center Sync, and Bose has Simple Sync. For most people with mixed brand setups, these benefits are irrelevant. The winner and why. Samsung's HW-Q990D wins convincingly. It delivers the most immersive Atmos, powerful bass, widest soundstage, and most complete package with included wireless sub and rears. It offers the best value with more hardware and performance while costing less. Sony requires expensive add-ons for comparable performance. Bose is suitable only for small rooms and casual viewers. The bottom line. If you want the most immersive, room-filling soundbar experience, buy the Samsung HW-Q990D. It dominates for home theater enthusiasts and gamers with medium to large rooms. If you prioritize dialogue clarity in a small room, consider the Bose Smart Ultra. If you're in the Sony ecosystem and want precision spatial audio, the Bravia Theater Bar 9 works but costs more. For most buyers, Samsung offers the best combination of performance, features, and value. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts.